Amidst the chaos yesterday, Hunter Goodman joined us. How did he do?
He hit 2 homers.
2.
Yeah, killed my lock.
2 homers.
Killed my lock in the ninth. Killed it.
I was texting with you guys. I was like, Homer, and then you texted back like a minute later, make it 2.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He hit the second one, tied the game, and then they went on to score another off Finnegan. But that killed my lock.
Don't say we don't talk about the Colorado Rockies. Had a player on yesterday.
That's enough.
Okay. We're going to get back to the headliners.
Rockies are hot right now for the Rockies.
You know, how many of the Nationals lost in a row now?
9 in a row, I believe.
Oof. Man.
They're starting to feel a little bit of heat. David Martinez coming out defending coaches
that he fired last year.
1-9. The Nationals are 1-9, and the Rockies are 3-7, and they've won 2 in a row. So they are hot.
The Nationals didn't make. I mean, Davey didn't do it. He fired the coaches, or the front office did.
Who knows? We'll see.
So last year, the
that
Nationals.
Usually comes. We saw it in Baltimore.
Yeah.
So the coaches get fired, then the manager gets fired. That happened with Brandon Hyde. It normally happens. The coaches get fired if there's not a market improvement.
Thank you.
Then it goes to the manager because the GM ain't firing himself. The GM wants 5 more years. I'm going to rebuild. I got better players coming in 5 more years. Give me 5 more years.
5-year plan.
Yeah.
Do you think it matters when you're going through a rebuild if you win more games year after year? So the Nats were not expected to be a playoff team this year. It seems like they've pushed their go back in plan to next year. Some people thought they should have gotten involved this past offseason and been more active. They weren't. That's their choice. They feel like they're 1 more year away. Last year they were 71-91, so a .438 winning percentage. This year they're 30-42, so it's a .417 winning percentage. Like, does it matter if they end up winning 70 games?
It should.
It should.
The ultimate goal is to win games. It should.
But they're not going to make the
playoffs.
playoffs.
But it's all about the way they play and their way they're playing. Like, who cares? Like, as Ozzie Guillen used to say, I could get a monkey to play hard, right? Like, yeah, great. Like, that's what everyone always says. Oh, they don't quit and they play hard. Like, it's cool. But no, like, good players play and bad players hustle. Another Ozzie Guillen quote, right?
I like that.
So
you have to learn to win.
Yeah, you got to learn to win it. And I also think that it starts in the minor leagues. Teams are trying to develop guys. You got to teach guys how to win baseball games. Winning in the minor leagues should be important because then if you win, like I remember when I was with the Twins, we went to the playoffs in A-ball and AA and AAA and all the way up, right? And it was cool because we're like, oh, we know how to win baseball games. Yes, we never won the championship in any of those leagues, but we're like, oh, we know how to win games.
Yeah, minor league records. Yep. You definitely sometimes see a team with a good farm system have a lot of success in the minor leagues, win a championship in whatever minor league that they're in. Anyway, let's get to the big leagues. Let's charge.
Charging the mound.
He's back, baby. Shohei Ohtani on Instagram, quote, I'm back. And you're like, wait, he's been back. No, he's back. He's unicorn back. He's pitching. And Kratz, he's throwing hard.
He had definitely had the speedball working, but he didn't have the swing and miss speedball working. They were seeing it pretty good. There's so much. I forgot his pitch call thing is like his pitch comm thing is tucked in his shirt. So he's got a like pocket in his jersey. So he's always reaching to that. His right arm has something underneath his sleeve. I don't know if he's wearing like something over his shoulder. And then he had to rush in to go get his at bat. His coaches are putting his shin guards out there. He's definitely going to get a pitch clock violation.
He touched a hundo. A lot of 98, 99, 28 pitches. He was laboring. But, I mean, good to see him on the mound, come off the mound, healthy, 2 RBI knocks, doing it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just good to see him out there. The velocity is what the velocity is. He was. I'm sure he had a ton of adrenaline amped up. I think it's more important what Kratz said. There was no swing and miss. There was a lot of long at-bats, deep counts. Not great contact by the Padres, but they were putting the ball in play, right? We think of Shohei with the split and the 100 and the slider. We think of the Mike Trout at bat where he went 3-2 slider, perfectly located, struck him out. That's the Shohei we think about. 28 pitches in 1 inning. They probably would have liked it to be around 15 to 20, but 28's a little bit high. But he got out there, he got him out. Now next time he can maybe go 2 innings. They'll slowly keep building him up. Let's see how he feels today. Is he sore? Is his arm sore? Is his leg sore? Will he play tonight?
Well, I want to get to that.
Stuff like that is the most important. How does he bounce back?
That's important. So yesterday we talked about Ohtani making his return to the mound and how he would bounce back. It was some of the most try-hard troll vitriol that I've seen on any video that we've posted on YouTube. Fans were losing their mind. These guys don't watch baseball. They clearly didn't see his numbers from 2021 to 2023. He didn't take days off. He was feeling good, blah, blah, blah. You just had all of these Hall of Fame baseball players posting in there saying that everything is completely fine and he's a machine and how dare you speak poorly about him, which obviously we didn't. Point was, you're saying surgeries later.
Age
he's not
later, years
a baby.
later.
Yeah. Let's see how things go. Because they're like, he raked when he pitched and he played every day and all of this. Like, we know the history. The people that were, you should see. I encourage you to go back at some point to see how dumb the comments were, trying to run through basic stats from 2021 to 2023.
Here's the thing. He didn't play every day because remember there was a whole thing where he's got to take the day off before he pitches, right? I mean, there was this whole big...
But that was in the beginning of his career.
Yeah, I know. But still, there were times where he had to do this. And
then they ditched the rules.
Yes.
And then people are like, see, he did it every day. I'm like, for a little, but then he got hurt.
Yes.
Then he got TJ again or whatever elbow
And then they were
surgery.
trying to be careful because they wanted to save his legs, so they didn't want him to steal as many bases. Right? I mean, listen, again, it's 2 years ago we're talking about. It's been almost 2 years since he's pitched. So, yes, hey, Shohei, welcome back. We're happy to see you, but let's see how you react. I mean, 2 years is a big time in someone's life.
I think people are looking at the comments that you guys made, and me, I guess, too, yesterday, like, oh, you're not rooting for him. Like, relax. I mean, we know who most of the people that were commenting in there were thinking. Like, we are pointing out that this is super uncommon, and you need to be careful when you're somebody in the league who has gone through quite a few injuries and surgeries at this point. And if you're the Dodgers, you don't want to mess with anything that you're getting production-wise in the lineup. Is he more important as a bat or a pitcher? Is it even close? For the Dodgers, is he more important as a bat or a pitcher? I guess you could make a case because Kratz, the pitching is going through some issues right now. You need both. Nobody is saying he shouldn't do this. We are just pointing out, let's see how the progression goes for him because it is all about preservation. The Dodgers are about preservation to get to October as healthy as possible.
And I don't know if they need 2024 Shohei Ohtani or not. I don't know if they need everything. But everybody who was hating on us, there is a decently large-sized drop from his production when he was pitching to when he was not pitching. That's all we were trying to say. Now, are we still saying that he is elite level? Absolutely. I mean, you're talking about a dude that hit 44 homers and had 95 RBIs, had 1,000 OPS. When he was only a hitter, he had 54 homers and 140 RBI. Like, you sit there and you go, that is a difference. The year before, 34 homers, 95 RBIs. Like, there is a difference when he is pitching. And you have to make sure you're getting the most out of him. But to me right now, they need him to pitch. I think that's the only reason he's out on the mound already. They need him to pitch because they don't have a lot of starting pitching. But more importantly, what Dave Roberts said, they need him in October. That's it.
Yes, and Kratz, I mean, the claim that's going to go against you is, well, not in 2023. In 2023, he had a 106.6 OPS, which was his career high. His OPS plus was very similar to what it was last year. It was like a few points down. So The claim is going to be, no, he hit just as well. And then what happened later in the year?
He got hurt. He pushed it. He pushed the limit that year. He definitely pushed the limit. I get it. His OPS was higher. But if you're talking about sheer production numbers, he missed a month. He was probably going to get pretty close to the same amount. But he ran the engine too hot. When you run your RPMs constantly at 5,000 RPMs, there's a chance something breaks. The Dodgers don't want to do that. So that level of production just can't be. He's not just going to flatline and stay at 60 home run pace while he's pitching a full schedule of pitching too.
You know, I don't bring this up all the time, but I felt like it was worth it just because there were so many comments about it. And I'm just like, we get it. For example, I'll just read a few. He did both in 2023, had a higher OPS in 23 than 24. Do you even know what you're talking about? That was the top comment.
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't.
No, he did it when he pitched. He didn't take time off. He was on pace to have a higher OPS while pitching and batting in 2023 than 2024. He's fine.
Yeah,
Second highest
blew
comment.
his arm out.
That's what we're trying to say. But people aren't going to listen this deep into it. They're just going to hear my asinine comment that he had he had lower production. You can't push the limit that hard. And the reality is, the Dodgers said it the whole time when Gomes and Doc were talking. They were like, we really don't know. We'll see how he feels. We're going to go off of him because nobody knows. There's no plan to say, you know what, you just threw 7 innings and you legged out a triple. I'm sure your legs are fine. Go out for the 8th inning. No, because something else is going to go, and it's this.
Yeah. There's so many I'm just looking through. But anyway, the point is, this is awesome. We're celebrating it. If you're the Dodgers, you want this exact weapon in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
How do you get there? How do you get Ohtani to the playoffs to give you 5-6 innings, whatever he's going to do, and be his best self at the plate?
Now, the playoffs are different, especially as you get deeper, because there's a lot more off days that are built in, right?
Yes.
Than a 20-game and 20-day stretch where he might pitch 3 times in those 20 games. That's a completely different animal. So, I don't know. Listen, Britt Giroli's the worst reporter in the world, so I'm just going to throw that out there. So just so
is she watching, or she's just in her?
I don't know. She just threw in our chat that I suck. So you know what, Britt? That's not nice. Be nice, Britt. I like you. I thought I liked you, but now maybe I don't like you.
She was just adding to the trolling that was going on yesterday. Did you guys even watch Ohtani in 2023?
No, I was too busy watching your Nats, Britt, lose their 9th game in a row, actually.
Anyway.
And I'm watching her Orioles, who she used to report for, be in 4th place. Or actually, they're in 5th place.
I don't think we have to clarify this, but we all love watching Shohei Ohtani pitch.
We just like watching him play baseball, pitching, hitting, whatever it is. We want him to be the best he can be. That's it. We want him to be at his best so that we can all watch him.
Here. Let's finish with this because then we're going to bring on Ken. You have a good chunk of our audience who says that we like the Dodgers too much, and then a huge contingency last night that chimed in that we absolutely hate them with a passion, and we were not nice enough about him coming back to the mound and making sure that he stayed healthy. How dare us bring that up? I don't always bring up the comments, but the volume of comments made me feel like I had to address it.
Shohei Ohtani has dumbed down how good he is and how unique he is. Like, if somebody did what Shohei Ohtani did at any level of baseball, college, Division I, 3, high school, doesn't matter. He's doing it in the big leagues at an elite level. He throws the ball as hard as everybody in the 98th percentile, runs as fast in the 98th percentile, hits the ball as hard in the 99 percentile. Like, we love Shohei, but you can't hurt him.
Yeah, I was super pumped to watch yesterday. And then the Dodgers ended up winning the game. There was drama in that game. We'll get to that later in the show. Ken Rosenthal standing by to join us next. Anything happened this week?
I fell asleep before it started.
See, he doesn't watch.
I tried to stay awake and I couldn't.
He doesn't watch
Hater.
every inning of every game.
Hater.
By now you know that HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit and that you can choose from 60 recipes every week. But what you might not know is that AJ wants me to describe some of the recent meals that are on the menu. So here we go. Sun-dried tomato grilled cheese sandos. That was easy. Panko-crusted chimichurri barramundi.
Yes.
Let's go.
Nailed it.
Let's
that
go.
Sounds delicious too, by the way.
It does.
And listen, as someone that uses HelloFresh a lot, they come in these little bags with all the ingredients in a bag. You take it out of the bag. It gives you instructions, the recipes in there. You got to do a little cooking so you feel like you did some stuff. highest quality ingredients, just delicious for meals.
That's right. Make your summer enjoyable and delicious by signing up for HelloFresh at HelloFresh.com/FT10FM and then get 10 free meals with a free item for life. That's HelloFresh.com/FT10FM for 10 free meals and a free item in every box, one per box with active subscription. Free meals are applied as a discount on the first box. New subscribers only, varies by plan. Here we are, Roman Anthony, to save the day, the Roman era. The game-winning homer in the second, as the Mariners was shut out by Lucas Giolito, who looked a little different, which is good. I watched a good chunk of that game. He did pitch well. We're going to ask Pap about him later. Ken Rosenthal's coming up soon. Newsflash. We're going to talk a lot about the Red Sox today based off what happened last night after our show. A lot of comments from a lot of people involved with the organization, but Roman Anthony with a nice dinger off Logan Gilbert.
He's going to go on to have a great career.
Yeah.
You know how I know this?
How?
Because only great people with great careers hit their first career home run in Seattle.
Rafael Devers
found the ball.
Rafael Devers also was one of them.
Yeah. AJ Pierzynski.
Yep. Boom. So mine went more to center. I didn't really go to right center. I went more to center.
You love Seattle.
I love. Listen, I'm telling you, I love playing there. I loved hitting there. I just liked Seattle. I don't know why, but the batters I didn't bother.
Seattle's nice in the summer.
I can hit here.
It's an awesome ballpark experience. I'm a big fan.
The whole thing is great. You get to eat some crickets.
That part, not a fan. Okay. But most of the rest,
gluten-free, those guys.
It is all natural, paleo, all that. Yeah.
They used to have this place. I'm sure. I don't know if Kratz ever went there, called Swannies. I don't know if you ever went there. Kratz is probably gone by the time you were there. It was a comedy club / bar, and it was across the street from where the old Kingdom used to be. And they had a downstairs, and they would have like comedy shows, and all the players went there. And it was just like a cool little hidden spot.
Speakeasy-ish.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, what a week. Let's hit the inside scoop with FT Senior Insider Ken Rosenthal. First off, I encourage everyone to check out Fair Territory, the fresh episode from Monday, to get Ken's thoughts on the Rafael Devers situation. But part 2 here, Ken, is what you wrote about after that show. So let's start there and go over your article, which includes comments from David Ortiz. What did he say and what stood out to you?
The essence of what he said was that Rafael Devers, he got paid and he has to do what his bosses say. That's kind of what the essence was. And he explained at greater length, it wasn't quite that simple, that ego comes into play in situations like this. And he's been through it himself. And he didn't believe the Red Sox were blameless. And keep in mind, Ortiz works for the Red Sox. He's a special assistant to the Fenway Sports Group. But what he said was that obviously the situation got to a point where it had to end the way it did. And he just kind of pointed out that you need to be, the word he used was mature enough to deal with these kinds of things. And he also mentioned that he was a DH and he played first base and he did whatever the team asked. And he learned to get through the difficult times. He said it wasn't always flowers and roses with the Red Sox during his 14 years there. But for the most part, he did endure. And obviously he ended up finishing his career with the team and, of course, now working for the team in what has been described as a forever capacity. So Ortiz was not ripping Devers, but what he was saying was you've got to have a different approach if you want to kind of stay in one place, and it didn't happen that way.
Ken, listen, I played with David from A-ball all the way up, played with him on the Twins, played with him on the Red Sox, was there for a lot of ups and downs of his. He works for the Red Sox. That's it. That's the story. He listen, you know something's going on. David loves the Dominican Republic. When he takes shots at a Dominican guy over the Red Sox, listen, he knows where his bread is buttered, as the saying goes. So, listen, I appreciate he tried to walk the line, but at the end of the day, David Ortiz, and I love you, David, but you're going to sign with the Red Sox. There's a lot of things the Red Sox have done for David Ortiz, not on the baseball field, which is why he's an employee there for life, as he says. And I get it. He's a franchise icon. He's done all these things. He's in all the Hall of Fame. He hit home runs. He gave the speech in 2013 for after the bombing. But the least surprising thing of this is that he sided with the Red Sox. I mean, he has to.
All right, AJ. In the first paragraph of the story, actually the first sentence of the story, I mentioned that he works for the Red Sox. The whole thing has to be colored with that information. I knew that. That said, he's still a David Ortiz. He's still a Hall of Famer. And as he pointed out, I don't just work for the Red Sox. I played for the Red Sox for 14 years. And if you're saying his opinion is invalid, I would challenge that. Yes.
No, I'm not saying that, Ken. I'm not saying
his
that.
opinion
I'm
has
just
to be
saying,
factored in. Go ahead.
no, I'm not saying it's invalid at all. I'm just saying that, like, I know you wrote the article, but I want people out there that didn't read the article that say, like, listen, I love David. David's a good friend of mine. I've known him for 25 years. But you have to start and finish with he works for the Red Sox. He's still being paid by the Red Sox. And as someone that didn't toe the line with another organization, was let go, I get it.
I started the article that way. I believe I said that when I came on today. Obviously, everything he said has to be colored by the fact that he works for the Red Sox. But the other thing about this is his opinion is one that a lot of people share. How can this $300 million player not be with the program, not do what the team asked? Now, as I've written elsewhere, I don't share that opinion entirely. Yes, Devers made mistakes here. Yes, he should have acted perhaps in a different way. This all started when they failed to include him in the communication when they were going after Bregman. That's how it all started. And they turned a kid who, well, it's not a kid anymore. He's 28. But they turned a player who they've known since he was 16, who has always had a reputation as kind of a sweet guy, into somewhat of a sourpuss. And that is on them. And this whole situation that they determined they had to rectify, because, of course, he was going to pollute the minds of their young players, that's on them too. They initiated this with their actions, with their lack of communication. And that is one thing that Ortiz acknowledged, that there was a lack of communication here, quite obviously. I mean, it doesn't take a genius to figure that out. But to me, this is as much, if not more, on the Red Sox than it is Rafael Devers.
Hey, Ken, just to double down on that with Poppy, do you feel like he was critical enough about the communication process? I mean, I saw the quotes. I know he mentioned, like, oh, it kind of was like, oh, it wasn't smooth sailing in the beginning. I don't know. I want to hear more from him. Like, if he was in that exact scenario, prime of your career, DH, show up to camp. They say, throw your glove away. We don't want you playing defense anymore, which is not, that is their right. That's okay. I mean, hey, for me, Ken, we talked about this in the offseason. I'm like, I want Bregman and I want Devers out of third base. He was potentially the worst third baseman defensively in the league. And I don't think Rafi's stupid. So if you do make that decision and you tell him that and you say, throw your glove away, which is essentially what they said, I feel like Poppy had a pretty big ego. He would have been pretty pissed.
Well, he did say, as I mentioned before, that he was in sort of the same situation. He was largely a DH, but when they asked him to play first base, he did. So I didn't ask him, if you were Rafael Devers in the exact same situation, how would you have reacted? I did not ask that question. But when he answered the other question that way, I think we had our answer. And I think he answered other questions in other ways, and the quotes are in the article, where you can see he would not have reacted the way Devers did. Now, that's his right. And absolutely, if he had been in that situation, it's always easy for us on the outside, including David Ortiz in this particular case, to have a particular opinion, but when you're living it, it's different. And again, no one is suggesting here that Devers is above reproach, that what he did was just great. It wasn't great, but there were reasons he acted the way he did. And this is a team, and Ortiz did make this point to me. I don't know if it made the article or not. They should have known he would react the way he did. This is a kid that they know forever. He was signed at 16. So again, if you're an organization and you value communication, as all organizations say they do, well, practice what you preach. Live it, and don't just talk about it. And that was the failure of the Red Sox here.
Yeah, that's the thing for me, is when this first started out, we're like, wait, this is the guy who a year ago was saying they needed to pick up more pieces and make them a contender. I felt like everyone was against him. And the more that it came out about the communication process, the more that I think feelings started to tilt towards, wait, is this becoming a trend with the Red Sox? So let's push that part forward. The part that we didn't get to on our show because it was last night, and same with your show. what did you think of the comments from Red Sox brass?
None of it really surprised me. They were talking constantly about alignment, that they didn't have alignment with the player. Yeah, obviously we can see that, and that's the new, I guess, front office buzzword of the day, alignment. And it did impress me that Craig Breslow, the chief baseball officer, said maybe there were some things he should have done differently. When he looks at it humbly, yes, and that was good to hear. They didn't smear Devers. They didn't really go after him. They kind of just explained that they didn't think it was the healthiest of situations. I gave my opinion about this whole idea of polluting young players' minds. I don't necessarily buy that. I guess, yes, you'd want him out of the clubhouse to not have that kind of person in there, a guy who's disgruntled. But you know what? If he was so disgruntled, how was he leading the American League as a DH and being the hitter he has always been? The players didn't seem particularly upset with him. He's done a remarkable job of adapting to that role. He's gotten no credit for that. This guy became a DH, and after a really awful start, all of a sudden was back to himself again, as if it was nothing. And Ortiz, I remember talking to him about this. This was just a private conversation some time back. And he said, hey, they're asking him to be DH. It's not so easy. Well, he did that. So this idea that this guy was just somehow toxic to them, I just don't buy that. He did what they asked. He didn't do everything they asked. And as I mentioned before, playing first base, which I believe he will do for the Giants because it's going to be a different line of communication. Playing first base, learning that position in the middle of a season. When you're a guy like Devers, who's not particularly athletic, you're risking embarrassment. You're risking hurting the team. You're risking a lot of different things. And as I wrote way back when in May, all the fans and all the people who were clamoring for him to play first base for the Red Sox would have been the first people to jump him when, of course, he would have had perhaps difficulty. So again, I'm not forgiving Devers. He should have been more of a team guy. Yes, but there are reasons why a player or anyone gets from point A to point B. The Red Sox were responsible for getting him from point A to point B. And if they didn't like the contract, they shouldn't have given it to him in the first place. They knew the player then. This idea, he's not a leader and he should do more in the community. You've seen some of that talk in the last 24 hours. You knew the guy. You gave him the $300 million. He wasn't going to change with $300 million. He wasn't going to become suddenly this face of the franchise. That's not him. The Red Sox knew it.
Sam Kennedy said something that stuck out to me. He said, well, name one major league organization with more championships and banners in the last 24 years. Was that kind of a shot at everybody that was questioning them and questioning their motives? And is that even fair? That's like saying a football team goes in to play a team. It's like, haven't beaten this team in 53 years. It's like, well, nobody's been on the same team. Is that a fair statement by Sam Kennedy to say?
Yes, it's fair. It's fair because this ownership has led the team to 4 World Series titles when they hadn't won one since 1918. However, that does not exonerate them forever. This is a business in which you have to succeed year after year after year. That's the goal. They have not succeeded in some time. They had a great year in 21, but really since their last World Series title in 18, that's it. So when you have last place finishes, when you have disappointments, when you have poorly executed trades, as the Mookie Betts trade was, when you have a series of missteps, well, you can't just keep saying we won 4 titles. That's not what Sam Kennedy was doing there, but he was just pointing out we've been a successful ownership. No argument, but they haven't been successful in recent years. It's like the Yankees. Do the Yankees walk around saying we've got the 28 championships? No. They know they haven't won one since 2009, and they are hell-bent on winning another. At least many of the people there are. So I understand his sentiment. It's certainly an accurate sentiment, but at the same time, it doesn't necessarily excuse what has happened in recent years.
All right, Ken, let's finish with a couple minutes on Ohtani. Thoughts on his return? It finally happened, and it happened much sooner than most of us anticipated because it was like, oh, wait, he's going to maybe be back for the All-Star break. Maybe this week. Boom, Monday night.
Yeah, his point was that throwing simulated games before playing that night was kind of exhausting him. So why not do it in a real game? Fair point and good call. I thought he looked good. The command wasn't there, quite obviously, and he talked about after the game how he was missing glove side. His arm was moving a little too quickly. That'll all come. The fact that he reached 100, that's really impressive. The fact that he had 2 hits in the game, that's really impressive. It was fun to watch him as a two-way guy again, even though it was a brief appearance. And I expect he will only get better as time goes on. He's going to build up, his command will sharpen, and everything, knock on wood, will be back to what it was pre-surgery.
And
Ken, it was just nice to see him back out on the mound. Whether
Yes.
the results were secondary, it doesn't matter. But it was nice to see him out there doing what he does. The Dodgers definitely need the boost, especially on the pitching side. So good for him.
2 knocks too.
Yeah,
2 RBI knocks.
But he takes, as we said, we hate Ohtani. As all the fans in the comments said, we hate Ohtani. So whatever. And I want to ask you about comments. I don't. Scott does. I don't. I don't care. Scott cares. Scott, it hurts his ego.
I wouldn't
makes
go
his
that
biceps
far.
smaller when people write bad comments. And I want to ask you about something else. Last night, the Nats lost their 9th in a row. Dave Martinez, they got rid of some coaches. He's already coming out, preemptive strike, right? Like, it's not the coach's fault. The coaches work really hard. How hot is his seat right now? Is he going to be next in line for managerial firing? And I hate to see anybody fired. Dave Martinez is a good guy. He won a World Series. He knows what he's doing, but it's the cyclical life of a baseball manager.
I don't know that his seat is so hot. Their ownership doesn't seem to be terribly involved or terribly interested in shaking up the status quo. That's just the reality with the Nationals. However, since winning the World Series in 2019, they have the second most losses in the major leagues. Not a lot of people realize that. Second most, only to the Rockies. Now, there are a ton of reasons for that go well beyond the manager. They've had failures in player development and scouting, amateur, international, all kinds of issues. They made a great trade for Juan Soto, no question. Mike Rizzo did that, but they have not supported that with excelling in those other areas. So will Dave Martinez take the fall for all this? I tend to doubt it simply because of the way they operate. But as we've seen before, enough losing can change an organization's direction. And 9 in a row is not good here. So who knows where they'll go with this, but what I wrote about a couple of weeks ago, and the Nationals fans, I read some comments, AJ. They didn't like the timing of this article. In fact, Mike Rizzo went on the radio in Washington and said, hey, we're playing better. Well, I don't know why Ken wrote this at this particular time. Well, guess what? I wrote it because this is an ongoing thing. And yeah, they had won, 7 out of 10 at the time. I guess I should have waited till now to satisfy everyone's timing question. But here we are, and the issues that I wrote about are the issues. And it's not an easy fix, and if you want to defend Rizzo and defend Dave even, the ownership has not given them the financial support in really many areas that they need. But at the same time, you've got to draft better. You've got to develop better. They've done a little bit better job the last couple of years. They had some turnover and changed some people around. But the failures of the team right now are a reflection of the issues that they've had over the last decade or so in those areas.
How dare you get ahead of a story that was looming?
Well, Ken knew. See, this is why Ken doesn't make predictions. He predicted they were going to go on a 9-game losing streak, and then that way Davey Martinez article would work. See, this is why Ken doesn't like to give predictions, because when he's right, it's really bad for people.
Like, he's too right.
It's kind of AJ, I wouldn't exactly put it that way, but whatever you want to say, man. Just like the
That's
people.
a compliment, Ken.
Say whatever you want.
Just don't write anything about me, Ken, because I don't want to be hit by a bus walking down the street today. Okay, thank you.
Great. I have no answer to that, as does Ken. Ken, thank you. We'll catch you later this week.
Thanks, guys.
All right, that's Ken Rosenthal. Fair Territory. I encourage everyone to check out a lot from Ken as he unpacks the Rafael Devers situation. And, of course, we'll talk more about it a little bit later on with the executive quotes that we started to hear. Actually, we'll do that next. It might be that time. If you're looking for a new car, there's one place to go that is going to take care of you, and it's Car Gurus.
Yeah. Looking for a car should be fun, not exhausting. Everywhere else, it's exhausting. You're dodging people. You're trying to just, can I look at this car? Car Gurus, you type in your search, you find the color that you want, it narrows it down for you, and all of a sudden you're like, this has been an exciting experience, and you got a great deal.
With over 4 million listings, Car Gurus has more car listings than any other major online automotive marketplace in the US, so you can find the best deal. It's no wonder SimilarWeb estimated traffic data shows Car Gurus is the #1 most visited car shopping site. Buy or sell your next car today with Car Gurus at cargurus.com. Go to cargurus.com to make sure your big deal is the best deal. That's CARGURUS.com. Cargurus.com.
And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Data dish time. 35% of Juan Soto's plate appearances against right-handed pitching this season have gotten to 3-ball counts. Highest in the National League. Anything to take from that?
He walks a lot.
Doesn't swing.
He doesn't swing a lot. I mean, yeah,
He works counts.
This is something we knew.
He works counts.
See, that's a nice way of saying he doesn't swing.
You can still swing if you work a count.
Yeah, but he doesn't swing. Listen, I heard something about Juan Soto the other day, and I don't know and I don't know who told me this, but it was one of those where he looks at the percentages of strikes that pitchers throw, and there are times where he just won't swing because he's like, oh, there's a better chance of him throwing 4 balls before he throws 3 strikes.
You could look at that as smart.
Yeah.
If you're trying to get on, that's
If
the
your
name of your
job
game.
is to get on base, to get on to first as a walker, then that is smart.
Yep.
He doesn't swing at a breaking ball early in the count till 2 strikes. He just won't. He won't unless it is an RBI situation. Even then, he considers dudes throwing a break, curveball, slider. They won't land it for a strike. And when they do, late in the count, that's when he puts it in play.
Stephen Kwan often gets to 2 strikes because that's when he likes to do damage.
Stephen Kwan isn't paid to hit homers.
True.
Nobody likes to hit with 2 strikes. Nobody.
Luis Ariz.
Yeah, Horizon Kwan.
Yeah, that's what he said.
That's what he said.
That's what he said.
That's what he said. Oh, lots of quotes. I want to start with Craig Breslow, who is
We're
running
still
the front
talking about
office.
this? We're still.
We didn't get you. All right, we'll make this part quick then if you're sick of it.
it's just funny that I said, please, can we stop talking Red Sox? And Devers gets traded, and we're still talking about this.
Okay.
We've done 3 segments on this now.
We do have a show of record vibe too, right? If
What
something
about
happens in
monster
baseball,
territory? Can't we just kick Scott to monster territory, and he can talk about this for 3 days straight?
that's actually a good punishment one day. If we want to punish AJ, we make him do a week of monster territory instead of foul territory.
Are we
Talk about all the
punishing?
drama.
Are we punishing Hyder or are we punishing AJ?
There's only one problem with that theory. I'll be asleep by the time that show starts, most likely.
It's a post-game show.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Especially on the West Coast, I got no shot. They're on the
I
West
watched
Coast.
Red
I got
Sox
no shot.
Mariners last night. Anyway, Craig Breslow said, quote, I do think there's a real chance that at the end of the season we're looking back and we've won more games than we otherwise would have.
No way of knowing. No way of knowing.
It's an easy quote to make. Like Kratz said, you don't know. How do you know? I don't know.
You can't, like, they can't go, if they're going to go based on, like, wins above replacement, no chance they're going to find somebody that's going to replace the production that Rafi Devers will give the Giants and then say, oh, well, if we put that on our team, yeah, then it'll definitely be replaced. No, it's such an arbitrary thing that he's just saying that our clubhouse is going to be so much better. Honestly, they're a 500 team. Maybe they're a 500 team with Rafi.
The vibe I got from the execs was that it was really bad. They made it like it was really,
of course they did.
really
the Red Sox do
toxic.
when people leave, they make them bad.
Yeah, you talk crap. Yeah.
Isn't that what they've done with pretty much everybody?
Yeah, we don't even want someone like that around the youngsters. It will poison their brains.
What do they want then? Do they just want people getting in line? Do they just want people getting in line? Do they want Mookie Betts to accept, what did he get offered? 182 million, 175 million? They want Mookie Betts to just get in line and accept that? Now, I'm all about clubhouse vibes and all about clubhouse, dudes that are bad for the clubhouse. I have a tough time. They have to come out and show me how Rafael Devers was this bad for the clubhouse, because his production was that good and will be that good for some time.
Yep. Agreed.
But here's the thing. And Mookie signed, if you ask David Ortiz, that once you sign, you have to do whatever they tell you to do.
That's
Isn't that what David said, basically?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you signed. You just have to do whatever they say. There's no...
Well, David's the perfect example.
No kickback.
He's still signed with them. So when they said, hey, we need you to get very vocal about this and trash Devers, he did what he was told.
I mean, I don't know if that happened, but
That definitely happened.
Poppy even said, the organization is always going to be there. Players come and go. As a player, sometimes you have to put your ego aside and understand that once you get paid, you've got to find a way to do what you're told. No, organizations will always be there. You have one career. If Rafael Devers wants to stand on his pedestal and say, I will not do this, I will not be pushed around, that is his one career. The Red Sox will continue on. If he doesn't believe in what they're doing, that's his only chance to be Rafael Devers, the Hall of Famer, Rafael Devers, the multi-year All-Star. And so I would disagree with Poppy in that sense. Again, I feel like that's a company line that he's saying. You can't just sit there and go, well, you know what? The team wants me to do this. I will do it. Maybe if you're a coach, but your career is so short. He will be Rafael Devers way longer than he will be Rafael Devers, the player. So he has to take advantage of a short career.
I'm going to use this example, and it might be a bad example, but I'm still going to use this example. I played for the Red Sox in 2014. We weren't very good. I got DFA'd, fine, whatever. But about 2 weeks before I got DFA'd from the Red Sox, John Farrell came in and said, no more kids in the clubhouse. They're a distraction. We're not letting every kid out. Guess who was the most mad and fought it like hell?
Poppy.
David Ortiz.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Guess whose kid was still in the clubhouse and was still doing everything and had his own TV show on Nesson after all this happened? David Ortiz. I love D'Angelo, and I've known him since he was born, right? I love David. I've known David since we were in A-ball. We literally were in A-ball together. Came all the way up. But he fought that.
They didn't trade him.
They didn't trade him, right? I mean...
So you're telling me that superstars sometimes get treated differently? They get a little more leeway or they get to battle? What?
It's just
I'm
amazing.
absolutely shocked and appalled. Absolutely shocked and appalled.
And I'll tell you this much right now. I know we're only hitting this from the Red Sox side,
Mm-hmm.
but if I'm Buster Posey right now, I'm like, I just got a great steal. Because people are talking about this contract for Rafael Devers. It's a pretty good contract for a 28-year-old with the numbers he's put up. DH, first base, third base, wherever you want to stick him in the outfield, whatever it is. If he hits the way he's hit and he drives in runs, which they don't do very well, this is a steal for them. I know he has 8 more years, but that puts him at 36. We're not talking Albert Pujols when you get into your 40s contract. We're talking 36. Guys can survive to 36 as hitters, okay? And Buster Posey's going, Craig Breslow called him and was like, Buster, what about Devers? He's like, I'll give you a Harrison and Jordan Hicks and I don't know, I'll throw in these other 2 guys. And Breslow's like, done. And Buster Posey probably put the phone down and was like, wait, hold up, guys, wait. Hold on. Craig, give me 2 seconds. Hold on. Hey, guys, they'll do this for what we just gave them. And the front office was probably like, okay, yeah, sign it, right? Like, I mean, seriously. Like, that's the thing is like, that's what Jim Bowden said yesterday. But to me, that's the biggest deal. I don't know. To me, that's the thing is that the Giants got markedly better with this move. For not only this year, but for the next years. They got a star.
AJ, you might disagree with me on this, but I think on this show, one thing that we don't do is we don't talk about players who are turds. We kind of like hint around it. We kind of, as a player, you never really like want to throw a player under the bus. I can tell you for a fact, I have never heard anything remotely close to Rafael Devers being a bad guy. So that would be the only like question, are the Giants getting a clubhouse cancer? Not a chance. Not a chance. Like, this dude goes out there, plays, hits dingers, and drives guys in. I have not, if I hear something, I will say it on the show, but I have never once heard anything about Rafi Devers being a clubhouse cancer, infecting the young guys that are coming up. Really?
He barely talks.
Exactly. He doesn't talk.
Really
he doesn't
know
do
him.
it. He just
He
sits there and does his own
He's
thing.
Super
I mean,
shy.
I don't never played with him, but I've known people that
Been
were
around
on the
him
Red
a long
Sox,
time.
and they always said good things. He was happy. He's a good kid. He works hard. He cares.
He's
I
going to
have
a
played
team
with
where
superstars who are turds
Yeah.
and will infect the clubhouse. And I've seen teams add guys who then kind of take over and push that turd superstar like, hey, we're going to be cool right now. Like, you got to be cool. Like, you can't just be a turd. And it changes it. That's adding people, not taking that superstar out of your lineup, off your team forever.
hey, this might not be the best example either, but he was the best position player on the Sox, right? The best bat on the Sox. So let's just take their rival. Aaron Judge in spring training shows up to camp. Yankees go, hey, first base. Let's say they didn't get Goldie. First base. We have a hole there. We have more outfielders. We want you to play first base. We need you to play first base. Didn't tell him a thing over the offseason, just blitz him right when he gets to spring training. Do you think he'd just be like, cool, hopping over to first? Or do you think that he might be a little pissed and be like, no, I love outfield and I'm playing well there. Well, we want to preserve you and we need a first baseman.
At first, he'd be like, what's happening?
Yeah.
But I think over time, if it's communicated properly, he would understand it. It's all about the way it's brought to you. It's all about the way it's presented to you. I'll use it. This is a different example, and I don't know if it fits here, but 2007, okay? 2006, I'm going to make the All-Star team. I had a really good year. 2000, and I played like 130 games, okay? 2007, we signed Toby Hall, who was a good catcher. And I was kind of like, kind of came out of the blue. And so I made some calls. And I was like, what are we doing? I can play every day. We don't need to, go here. And some of the coaches were honest with me. They're like, look, we don't know that you can catch 130 games. We're going to kill you if you keep catching 130 games. So we brought him in to just give you some days off. You're still going to catch 110, but he's going to get 50 or so. And I was like, okay, I understand. Like, communication is how it's all brought up, right? And I was like, okay. But then Toby ended up getting hurt, so it was a null and void, which I feel awful for. But it was the way it was communicated to me. Like, they didn't say anything when it first happened. So I was like, why are we making this move? Like, I could play 162. Then when I talked to people, they said, listen, calm down, take a step back, think about this. This is why we're doing it. You're still going to get your 110, 115 games. But the other games, we have a better shot of winning when this guy's in the lineup than what we had. And I was like, okay, understood. It's about communication with the players.
All right, one more layer here. Let's show the line from Jeff Ponce on Baseball America Hot Sheet yesterday that went viral about the mysterious offer.
The conversation we have to have is unloading that contract to them. In their eyes, is that the best deal possible? Because I think it was. And, what I've been told is that there was another deal where they were taking on some of the money. I do not know what pieces were included within that particular deal. That was vetoed by John Henry. And the reason it was vetoed is because they had to take on money.
There you go. And that's Hot Sheet for you, by the way, where we talk about the top prospects in the sport, part of the Baseball America content that we put together. Anyway, Craig Veslow came out, said, not true.
What's he going to say? Of course he's going to say not true. What's he going to say? Yeah, there was another deal, guys. It was better, but, man, we weren't going to take on that money because that a couple extra million we couldn't afford. Of course he's going to say it's not true.
My only thing is you better be careful because there's some good insiders out there. And if someone does actually unravel that story and Jeff was on the money, it doesn't make you look good.
What's going to happen?
You're better off. What?
What's going to happen? Somebody unravels nothing.
There are trust issues right now with the fan base. So
that's what I'm saying. He has to say this was the best deal we could get, because if he says, no, we were too cheap to make a better deal because we didn't want to pay $10 million, fans are going to go crazy. They're already mad they trade, right, Kratz? Am I not right on this one? Like, if they come out and say, oh, we could have got way better prospects or way better players, but it would have cost us $10 million, the fans are going to go crazy.
If it was like, say, the Braves, really quick after that radio interview, he's like, Anthopoulos, that never happened. Never tell a soul. And I turned that down. Anyway, all right. This is good. Let's step aside. We're going to get to another team in the division. Yes, there are other teams in the AL East. Let's talk Orioles with Ryan O'Hearn, strong all-star candidate too. Coming up next. It is summertime. We are in the thick of golf season. It's always golf season down in Florida, but we're in the thick of golf season across the country, and someone's looking to get a new club. That logo should say it all. PXG. What do they do?
Go get fitted. Mm-hmm. Go get fitted by one of their master fitters, professional fitters. I've done it. It's helped shave many strokes off my handicap. It is worth it. It's educational. You learn about not only clubs, you learn about shafts, you learn about grips, you learn about angles. They have all the numbers, all the setups that you need to help improve your handicap.
You feel like a VIP when you're there.
100%. They even help my putting, which needed help.
Mm-hmm. There. They help your putting there.
There.
That's how cool it is. So schedule your fitting today, and for a limited time, you could save up to 20% on your entire order. Head over to pxg.com/foul. That's pxg.com/foul to save up to 20% on your entire order. pxg.com/foul. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
This is actually a quote from Buster Posey, their president of baseball operations. I just think that the bat's so special. So do I. My thoughts are it's really hard to acquire the type of talent at this point in his career. I agree with that as well. It's pretty unprecedented. We're obviously taking on a lot of money. We're giving up some pitching, giving up our first-round pick from last year. That's Tibbs. So this didn't come without a cost, but we felt like this was a chance to take a shot. I fully agree. If they're willing to get rid of him, I think that the Giants are got a W here, right? But like I said, personnel problems. Who's the third baseman? Oh yeah, Matt Chapman, who got paid a bunch of money last year. He's going to be the full-time third baseman. They don't have him right now. He is nursing a sprain, I believe an ankle sprain, but he will be the third baseman. So that leaves first base for Rafi. So now we're back to where we were before, because guess who the DH is? Wilmer Flores, who just happens to be leading the Giants in RBIs with 51 and having the best season he's had in years. So, like, you can't just be like, all right, Wilmer. Wilmer was on the hot seat. He has earned his spot. He deserves to be out there. But, again, he's a little bit of a defensive liability as well. So, like, which guy are you going to put in the field?
Good stuff from Trevor May. A lot more that you can get from Trevor. His take on Devers to the Giants on May Day, part of the FT Network. You can check it out. Yesterday's show was live. Go give it a look on the FT YouTube channel. 215,000 subscribers, I think we're at, is the current tally. Yep, 215. Hey, Ryan O'Hearn from the Orioles is back on the show. Ryan, great to have you back on, man. And this is a great week to get you back on. Are you the most excited person in baseball that Rafael Devers got traded to the Giants, because he is out of your damn division because you like winning games? And, you know, all-star appearances would be cool. You're now the leading vote getter for the DH spot. How you doing?
Yeah, I just want to shout out Craig Breslow real quick. Appreciate you, man, helping me get, in the standings. But, yeah, what a wild deal. That was crazy, huh? I'm good.
Hey, you're deserving.
You too.
Ryan, by the way, it's deserving, okay?
Yes.
I mean, if you look at your numbers, you're having a good year. So it's deserving that hopefully you get to go to the All-Star game and you get to experience that, because you're off to a great start. So Rafael Devers aside and the trade aside, we do want your thoughts on it, but you are deserving of an All-Star nod.
Well, I appreciate that. We'll see. We got a month to go, so, got to keep playing good, but we'll see. Feel good about it.
Now, what do you think about the Devers trade? Now let's dig into the other stuff. We've complimented you now. Now it's time to ruin your day. So what do you think?
It's wild. The timing is wild. At this point in the year, it's still, a month and a half till the trade deadline. Rafi's a special player. I don't know, man. That's a weird deal. But obviously, I think whenever you get paid that kind of money and you kind of are, dancing or to the beat of your own drum, like you don't want to do what you're asked. I mean, maybe that things like this happen, but wild. I was definitely shocked.
You said it's a weird deal. You guys obviously struggled with a little bit of pitching early in the season here. As a player, do you feel like an organization has to wait till the trade deadline? I feel like we're just like, oh, okay, we are robots. We're waiting till the trade deadline. Like, don't you want a shot in the arm? You guys went down with injuries. Wouldn't you love it if the Orioles were like, you know what we're going to do? We're going to go after Sandy Alcantara. I know right now he's not, he wasn't pitching well, but he's hot now and it's time to go because we as a team come to the ballpark every day to win. So wouldn't it be awesome if your front office would make a move like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a different scenario, right? As far compared to the Rafi situation, but yeah, I mean, definitely if you believe you have the pieces to be a contender and you get killed with some injuries early on, I think that'd be awesome as a player to have reinforcements like that. But usually it seems like we don't see big deals. Regarding you don't even know who's selling and who's buying yet at this point, I would say. The Orioles are rumored to be sellers, or it seems like that's the narrative, but we got time, man, and we're not that far out of a wild card at this point. And team gets hot, I think we're going to be in a good spot. So I just think it's a little bit too early. To your point, yes, it's always good to have Sandy Alcantara or some stud come join your team. But also it's like, how do you know who's buying and who's selling at this point? Obviously there are extremes, but most teams are kind of in the middle somewhere.
Yeah, and the extra wild card has definitely helped that cause too, right? The more playoff spots that you have open, the more that mathematically your team has a shot, and it makes sense. Why wouldn't you want to do that? I mean, we've talked about the Diamondbacks too on the National League side, and I'm like watching them on a nightly basis, and I'm like, damn, this team's pretty good. Just because they lost, their ace, they still might be really good, and might be 8 games over 500 by the time we get to the trade deadline. One more thing from me on Devers, because you'll DH, you'll play first, you'll play in the outfield. I think everybody just wants to know like how players perceive things inside the clubhouse. So we try to take them inside here. If there is your best bat and he's quiet, he's not a problem, but he's just having problems with the front office about where they want him to be. What do you think is the temperature from the rest of players? Are most players like, I don't care, he's not bothering me and he's the best player on the team, so let's ride this out? Or do you think guys are like, man, he is really hurting our chemistry because he's battling with the front office?
Yeah, I mean, I think it probably depends on the clubhouse. I mean, like in that clubhouse, Rafi is the best player, the highest paid player, the franchise cornerstone. So I feel like, I mean, I don't know, unless you're in the clubhouse, you don't know, but I feel like maybe the whispers about it wouldn't really be there. But I think maybe in a clubhouse like a Padres or like a place with like a ton of veterans and a ton of guys who have done a lot of big time things in their career, if another guy isn't willing to make a move or do something different for the team, then I think that could be more of an issue. But I mean, a guy like Devers is the face of the franchise, and he's hits in the 3-hole every day, and he's driving in all the runs, and he's he's supposed to be the leader. So, I mean, I can see both sides. I don't think guys are probably going to say much about him. But I mean, in my opinion, if you're taking on that, if you're making that much money and you have all that responsibility, I think you got to do what's best for the organization, or things like this will happen.
Ryan, you mentioned it earlier, and I hate bringing this up with guys, but if you guys don't get back into this, your name has popped up big time for trade deadline stuff. Would the team approach you with that beforehand? Would they say, hey, Ryan, we've talked to teams, have your bags packed? Or is it something that you just kind of know as a player and are like, okay, I hope this doesn't happen, but if it does, at least I think I'm going to a good place?
Yeah, I hope that they would want to communicate with me about it. I think I've made it pretty clear that I enjoy being an Oriole, and if there's any interest in keeping me around in the future, then I'm definitely open to hearing about it. But I think in the nature of today's game is there's so much I mean, I'm not on Twitter, but it's impossible to ignore the noise. Like, it's everywhere. And it is what it is. It's in some facets, it's a compliment because you're playing well, and people think that you can help other teams. But at the same time, like I said, we got a long way to go. We got another month and a half till the deadline, and I'm dead set on finishing the year as an Oriole. I think, we've underperformed for sure, but I think the last 2-3 weeks have been pretty solid, and the confidence is building, and we're getting some players back and all that. So I'm by any means I'm not giving up on remaining an Oriole at least through the end of the year. But I think it's in today's game it's impossible to be oblivious to it.
So take us through it. What happened at the start of the season that led to the team being in a hole, and what's changed? Why is the team on a much better track right now?
Yeah, I mean, I could just take the easy way out and say it's baseball, because as you guys know, like things don't go your way sometimes, and then sometimes things don't go your way, and it becomes this big story, and it's like, hey, we got to have a players meeting, and hey, we got to have a rah this, and we got to figure it out. And in this game, trying harder doesn't necessarily equal wins. It's the weirdest thing. Trying harder is probably gonna hurt you more than it's gonna help you. You gotta, and then for whatever reason, out of nowhere, you can get this mojo, and just it's 26 guys feeling like you're gonna win every night, no matter if it's 5-0 in the second inning. It just doesn't matter. We're gonna figure out a way to win this game, and that's obviously a much more fun side to be on. But it's just baseball. I mean, I can't think of like one specific thing. I think our starters had some guys had some tough starts, and at the beginning of the year, and it snowballed a little bit. We had some injuries, and then you feel like you kind of lose your mojo, like it just, and it becomes an everyday grind to try and get back to what we know we're capable of. The manager gets fired, Hyder gets fired. That's a tough thing in the clubhouse. A lot of guys love Brandon Hyde, including myself. And so that can put a weird, feel around the clubhouse. But ultimately, like, Mansolino's done an amazing job. He's got great relationships with guys. The last few weeks have been fun. Seems like guys are having fun at the field again. Guys want to go to the yard. And we're kind of getting that Orioles magic back, if you want to put it that way. But it's been really fun over the last couple weeks.
Yeah, I don't want to pile on Brandon Hyde at all. Listen, Ryan, I don't want to pile on Brandon Hyde. He was a great guy to talk to. He knows baseball. But what's the difference between Mansolino and what Brandon Hyde? You said there's more fun. Is that the biggest difference you've noticed? Because it's not like Brandon Hyde forgot how to manage overnight. It wasn't like, oh, man, this guy took us to the playoffs the last 2 years, and now, he just forgot what he was doing. So what's the biggest difference you've noticed?
Yeah, I mean, having fun is not related to the manager at all. Like, having fun is related to winning some close games and, sweeping a couple teams and, happy flight instead of sad flight. And you know how it goes. But I don't really see a massive difference with the manager. I mean, Mansolino he's got great relationships with guys. He's checking on everybody. He's good at managing the room and managing the players. Guys at different stages of their careers. But you know what? Hyde was the same way. I don't have anything negative to say about Hyde at all. Love the guy. He did a lot for me. Like I said, I don't think that there's one reason you can point to as to why we played better in the last few weeks. It's just baseball. It's just how it goes. You get a few lucky breaks. Maybe you get some guys back. The ball starts rolling, and you start winning. And once you get that taste of winning, it's like you can kind of sense it in games. You've been winning, you're playing well, you're up a few runs. It's like there's blood in the water. And yeah, I mean, I've been asked this question before. I can't really think of one thing to point to what's changed over the last few weeks. And I have nothing negative to say about Brandon Hyde at all. Make that clear.
Can I point to the one thing? Adley Rutschman's freaking raking. What on earth is different about the month of June? Your captain, my captain, Mr. Rutschman, is absolutely crushing it. Is there a change? Did he come off of an injury? Did he wear a golden thong? Did someone else wear a golden thong for him? What is it?
I don't know. He's banging. He's doing great, man. And Gunner's playing well too. We got Westy back. I think when those guys, specifically those three guys, for me, when they're driving the bus, it's the team is cranking on all cylinders. And especially Rutsch, man. He just when Rutsch is playing well, it just seems to get everybody else going. And he's been, credit to Rutsch. He had a tough start, but he's been the same guy all year. Goofy, fun in the clubhouse, great teammate. So really, proud of him for going through a tough stretch and being the same guy. And now he's hitting like he's capable of. And I think, he's just going to keep on doing that the rest of the summer.
All right, Ryan, before we let you go, you guys are in Tampa right now. Do you guys still stay across the bridge in St. Pete, or are you guys in Tampa proper?
Yeah, we're at the Vinoy.
Okay. Have you seen any ghosts? That's all I want to know. Have you seen any ghosts at the Vinoy?
Hey, I finally have enough tenure that I'm on the tower side and not the historic side, so I don't have to look anymore.
But how are you supposed to see ghosts if you're on the new side and not the old side?
It's not my problem. Maybe you could ask like Kobe Mayo or one of those guys if they've seen any ghosts.
Have you guys ever pulled any pranks on any of the young kids? Because we got Jace Peterson one time so bad. I didn't, but Johnny Gomes did. It was in Milwaukee at the Pfister. They put stuff on his mirror and made him freak out, like hid in the room. And the guy stopped staying there, okay? But I don't know. But at the Vinoy is another one where people think about this. So has anybody in the Orioles that you've heard of ever messed with the guys and said like, ooh, there's ghosts in the room?
No, but that's hilarious. And I think I should definitely do that.
Yes.
Can I even I could get an extra key from like the travel secretary and try to mess with somebody.
Yes.
Absolutely. Who would be the guy you get? Who would be your first? Who would be the first one?
That's a great idea.
He's not going to tell you. He's like,
no, I think he missed it. Go ahead, Kratz, one more time.
Oh, who would be the first one? Who would be the most gullible to like fall for the ghost is in your room prank?
I mean, I gotta say Kobe Mayo, man. This guy, I love him to death. I'm on his case. He just seems like he's, attached to his iPad 24/7. He's never watched Superbad. I made him watch Superbad. He doesn't know who like the Rolling Stones are. He's just his own little bubble, and it's all about TikTok and all that. So I don't think he would have any if he was going to get pranked anyway.
That's awesome.
So he's your classic Gen Zer.
He needs to do it. You need to film it. Now, since you're on...
He's what?
He's full Gen Z, for sure.
Yep.
I love it. By the way, so now that you're on the news side, do you have one of the cool rooms that have a hot tub in the backyard? Because that was always my request. I always told the travel guy, like, listen, if I'm not going to see a ghost, I need the hot tub in my own room. Because there's rooms there with the hot tub. Mm-hmm. On the back porch, you have a hot tub.
I didn't know that. That's awesome. I definitely don't have a hot tub. I have a balcony with like a nice view, but no hot tub.
Okay.
Next time.
Next time.
Next year.
When you come down there.
If he gets the All-Star nod, next trip.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's the next status. Ryan, awesome catching up with you, man. Thanks for joining us again. Good luck the rest of the way, and obviously with the team and with All-Star voting. But I know guys always feel weird talking about themselves, but obviously a cool storyline that we're following too.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. We'll see what happens. Got another month to go, so just got to keep playing well. One day at a time.
Yes. You keep playing well. People keep voting. That's how it works. Ryan, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Kratz, real question for you. So I'm in Arena Club, and I opened up a slab pack. I pulled a Wyatt Langford auto rookie card. I got an immediate offer from Arena Club. I turned it down. It was in the mid 300s range. I've gotten a few offers since. Thoughts on Wyatt? Should I hold on?
I saw it. I didn't see it when you ripped the pack, but it looks so sick with everything around it and how it's spinning in your showroom. That John looked nice. But no, you shouldn't sell it. Maybe wait till he makes an all-star or two, and all of a sudden that 300 goes up, and you're going to get another instant offer right away on Arena Club.
That's right. Buy, sell, trade. Slab packs are there for you too to rip a pack. And for me, I'm just leaving it in the showroom for now. I'm deciding what I'm going to do with it. But if I did want to sell it, then I can get myself another slab pack or buy a card that I want to buy. Get 20% off your first slab pack or card purchase by going to arenaclub.com/Val. Use code FOUL. Hey, injury news. Lance McCullers Jr. is the fourth Astro starter to hit the injured list this season. This is according to Chandler Rome, telling us that it was a weight room accident on Saturday.
At least it's not his arm. At least
True.
it's not his arm.
True.
That's all I can say. At least it's not his arm. A foot? What, did he drop a weight on his foot or something? I don't know, but at least it's not his arm.
Got to eliminate all weights. All weights. Have other people lift the weights for you. Wait. Isn't that what we do with throwing? Somebody hurt their arm throwing, so we just eliminate a lot of throwing. We're not going to throw that much anymore.
So you want someone else to throw for him? What's the gimmick here? He's got to lift a little bit, no?
Yeah, he needs to do something.
Yeah.
I don't know. If we get into the Zack Wheeler comments, we'll have a whole conversation about this.
About lifting?
Yeah, about lifting and not versus not lifting and where we're at as a baseball society as far as this goes.
Do you want to do that instead of the baseball talk? Or, I mean, we'll see how long one goes or the other. And you can produce right here, guys. Right here. You've got 30 seconds to produce the show for In the Weeds.
Our producer lady is so excited about that. Oh, let's
She's
just
like,
change
make
it
up
on
your
the fly.
damn mind. Make up your damn mind.
We're going with the opposite. Whatever she has a schedule to do, we're doing the other.
We have the baseballs.
Okay, well then we'll talk Wheeler.
Wheeler?
Yeah.
All right, we'll do Wheeler, and then we'll see. Maybe the baseballs tomorrow.
Let's see how many skulls I get.
Director guy.
Special request here from AJ and Kratz. In the Weeds, Zack Wheeler profile piece from Mac Elb, I think it was. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the headliners, here it is, Zack Wheeler's way, the ace who knows what he likes and has no time for everything else. One of the headliners was he is done with baseball when his contract expires at the end of the 2027 season. It's 2025.
Charlie Morton said that for like 10 years in a row and kept signing like 1 year, $20 million deals.
Yeah. I mean, if Wheeler's pitching like this, he's going to be getting 1 year, $45 million offers.
Yeah.
He's a top 5 pitcher in the sport.
Agreed.
And he's saying that he has 3 years left in him. And hey, he might be a very different looking pitcher
Just in 2 more.
in 2.5 seasons from now. But also he might still be a pretty good number 1 starter in baseball. And if that's the case, you don't often see guys step aside completely on top. Do you think that?
But good for him if he does it.
Do you think he'll do it if he's Wheeler?
I don't know Zack Wheeler that well, but he doesn't seem like a guy that's going to go back on his word.
Okay.
I like it. Listen, this article is crazy. It's awesome. I love it. Listen, you want to know how different people are in life? Just read this article because there's Zack Wheeler, and then there's like 99% of the other baseball guys that are all involved. So we're going to dig in here a little bit.
Okay, so he barely looks at his phone when he's with his family. He essentially puts it away.
I love that. I wish I could do that.
That's hard to do.
It's really hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. I'm proud of him for that.
It's admirable.
That's hard, man. I mean, because I got Scott texting me, what time do I need to be down for dinner at night? Like, right? So it's hard for me not to look at my phone. What time do I need to be there to wash your car? Am I cutting the grass this week? So I got to answer. I got to answer. I got to answer the kids.
I'm like, AJ, is dinner at night or is that breakfast? I'm so confused. But AJ's just a nice guy replying to everyone. For Zack Wheeler, he also is not the healthiest eater. He also is not a big gym guy.
I love that, too. Pitchers, okay, Kratz, you and I can have this conversation. The old saying, you can't pull fat, right? Where does it come from? Baseball players. You got to have some fat on your body to move around because it shields your muscles from pulling. And I'm all for lifting weights and I'm all for eating healthy. But I think at this point in society, especially baseball society, we've taken it to an extreme. Why do I think, and I could be way, and so all the people on Twitter and all the people in the comments can tell me I'm wrong, but there's a way where you get too ripped and you get too big and you get too strong, and then you can't move as efficiently, and your body can't do it. And after time and time, you get tired. I mean, I worked out almost every day that I played, especially like later in my career, like the last like 10 to 12 years, I worked out almost every day, but it wasn't a heavy lift. It was let's get the blood flowing. We're on the road. It's 2:00. Boom, boom, boom. I want to get some blood flowing. I ride the bike for 20 minutes, just get blood moving. And did I eat great on the road? I don't think it wasn't possible back, then.
Different time.
Different times now, but you still got to mix in some fat. Juan Pierre was one of the most jacked dudes I ever seen in my life. I played with him for years. He ate like 7 ice cream bars a day and was jacked. And he would tell you, like, you got to put some fat in your body.
But to me, that's like you're born with a gift. Your metabolism's off the charts. Your athleticism's off the charts. You're an outlier. Here's the story that stood out. Apparently last season, Orion Kirkering stepped into the gym and saw a Diet Coke bottle with a sticky note on it, and it said Wheels. Kirkering was confused. Someone told him when Wheeler works out the few times he does a year, he treats himself to a Diet Coke. Cheap drink.
I mean, they're gonna study Zack Wheeler. Zack Wheeler had Tommy John surgery in 2015. How long do we say Tommy John surgeries last? 6 years? 7, 8 years, maybe? He's now in his 10th year. If you think the answer is you have to lift, you have to do this, you have to do that, maybe it's not. Maybe, you can't have any gluten, can't have any dairy, can't have any all this stuff. And I was somebody, when I played, I was very strict into that stuff. And I, made it kind of a lifestyle change. But you can't be a bodybuilder. So I think it's the two extremes. If Zack Wheeler wasn't healthy, people would say, you got to check out, you got to be in the weight room more. Because he's stayed healthy and he's pitched at an elite level, tons of innings for essentially 10 years on this most recent Tommy John surgery, you're going to have to look at it. This dude is physically gifted too. He is a monster. He is long, lanky, repeatable mechanics. So who knows? Maybe this will open some eyes to some people, but there'll be a lot of strength coaches. And believe me, every team has at least 2 strength coaches now and massage therapists that are strength coaches. They're like, no, you got to get in the weight room.
I'm not saying don't get in the weight room, but I'm saying getting incredibly shredded, if that's not your body type, naturally, you got to play with what your body type is, right? Like I said, I worked out all the time. I worked out almost every day, 7 days a week. If I was at the field, I had to do something, but that was my way to get my body going. I wasn't lifting heavy. I was doing light weights. I was doing more circuity stuff that took like 30 to 45 minutes of just moving around, right? Getting on the bike, getting on the treadmill, whatever it was, lifting, doing some stuff. But you got to know your body type and you got to figure that out. Everyone, it's not a cookie cutter thing. And not every dude is meant to be shredded. And sometimes when you get too shredded, you get hurt more because you just don't have anything protection there.
Giancarlo Stanton just came back. He's the opposite side of the spectrum here.
Tyler O'Neill is basically a bodybuilder. He cannot stay healthy. Mm-hmm. He can't. He hasn't his whole career.
We're cherry picking. We're cherry picking, yes. But to me, look at the guys and their body types that play every single day. More dad bod type of players. Look at the guys that are out there 155 to 162 games. Not one of them that I've seen is shredded. In the sense of like a lifting shredded. Like they're a little frumpy, but they're carrying that weight because you need it to get through the rigors of the season and keep your muscles pliable and loose.
Dad bods win championships. All right, we learned a lot here. Next up, the baseballs are moving differently. The league does not know why. Equally hit, hard hit fly balls are averaging 4 feet of distance less than they were last year. There's more drag. The league knows this on the baseballs than any year that they've been tracking this in the past decade.
Why? That's the only answer on why. I get it. They figured it out, but why? And they're going to say they're hand stitched, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
did the
all
stitchers
of them,
didn't change?
They all changed their stitching together?
It's not the same person stitching every ball.
Yeah.
And by the way, baseballs are made in Costa Rica, which is one of the strangest facts of all time. If you ask somebody where a baseball is made, they'd say America, China, Japan, Taiwan. They're made in Costa Rica.
Mm-hmm.
So there's probably a bunch of people sitting in a room, and I've seen it. They stitch them. Were they told to stitch them a little less loose this year? Sometimes they said balls are juiced a little bit. They're stitched a little bit tighter. Who makes that decision?
Yeah, something's happening at scale, of course, because it's not like just one change on one baseball. So one league source in this story from Cyrus and Evan Drellick said a change in seam width or height is one theory from the league side. Brent Rooker with a quote in this story, I've definitely hit some balls that I thought were going to have a chance, and they've been caught against the wall. Let's go to Andrew McCutchen, who tweeted about this in reaction to the story. I was told by a rep for MLB that the balls are indeed different this year. They stated higher seams, which produces more drag on baseball, causing baseballs to not travel as far as they should. When asked why, I was told every baseball is hand sewn, so no ball is the same. When I asked if there's something that can be done about correcting the current performance of this year's baseball, I was told there's nothing that can be done about it this season, but they're working hard on getting to the bottom of why the seams are higher.
Okay. They're all hand sewn, which means every ball should be different. It shouldn't be uniform that every ball is not traveling as far, right? Some should be tighter, some should be looser. If they're all hand sewn, and I'm assuming not one person sews all the balls together.
Right.
There's got to be many people because there's how many millions of balls they go through every year.
Correct. Many.
So I just don't understand how they say, yeah, we know this. There has to be something they told them to do differently to make them not go as far.
How about, you want to hear my conspiracy theory?
Hell yeah.
Who are the two biggest contracts that were given out this offseason and the beginning of the season? Position players or pitchers?
Soto and Vlad.
Okay? So now we got to make sure position players' numbers don't go up. So we make the balls a little bit more dead. Back when in 2019, they found that baseballs were completely different. They were made completely different, and the balls were launching out of the ballpark. The year before, who had the largest contracts? Pitchers were being given tons of contracts. To me, probably totally a conspiracy theory, but as contracts ebb and flow, the best way to manipulate that is based on the numbers. Hey, if position players' numbers keep going up and we start attacking, that Juan Soto, Vladimir Guerrero type of offensive numbers, we got to squash that so other guys' numbers can't go up quite as much. You can't tell me this isn't an MLB dictated thing.
That is a wild reason, but it can't be that all of a sudden all the stitchers got together and said, we're going to stitch things differently.
They were told or they changed something. Something was either changed or they were told. That's it.
Right.
It's the only way.
When the balls were changed, it had nothing to do with the stitches. Maybe this year, I haven't seen this year's balls. The balls are stitched the exact same way. That's why it's allowed to be hand stitched. It's what's inside. It's how it's wrapped tighter, looser. That ball is going to go, just not going to go as far. AJ, you can pick up a ball and be like, this ball is rock hard, or this John is soft. So.
No, but what they're saying in this one, though, Kratz, is that the seams are actually higher, and that is the stitched part. They're saying the seams are higher. That's what they said, which then doesn't go 4 feet as far.
Here's the part that I think was just totally off base on the PR side from MLB. So this is what they put out. In terms of outcomes on the field, 2025 remains in line with last year's results. They said home runs per ball in play at 4.2% this year, 4.1% last year. Batting average, very close. Runs per game, right? The counterpoint in the article in The Athletic is great. They're like, okay, let's remove the 2 minor league parks. Because if we're going to make a comp to last year, let's get rid of the 2 parks that are very, very different and leading to much more offense in one of those parks for sure, right? They said home runs as a percentage of fly balls hit in March, April, and May are at an 8-year low. And 2015 to 2019, there were wild year-to-year swings and drag. And then over the past few years, They bought the ball manufacturer, changed the bounciness of the inner core, and installed humidors in every park. The past 4+ seasons were in a good spot with consistency. And then this year, we're whacked out again. We'll let the scientists.
They knew those minor league parks. They knew the minor league parks were going to inflate offense. And so they made a change. Stop denying it. Just say, you know what we did? We did this. That's it. Don't, there's human error. No way. I don't believe it. Unless you change the size of the actual red stitching on the ball, those people are stitching these balls exactly to specs like they're told.
Agreed. There has to be a reason for it when we're talking about hundreds of thousands, if not millions of baseballs. So none of us are going to act like we're smart enough to understand all of the science of it. We're just reporting on or relaying what the story said. Now we'll get to our expert reporter on the Red Sox coming up next, Jonathan Papelbon, on a team that's won a season-high 6 games in a row and also has dominated the FT headlines. Maybe this will be the last time we talk about this for the week. Maybe.
When will we stop talking about the Red Sox?
No chance.
Hey, congratulations to Gage Wood, the Arkansas starter who dealt a no-hitter in the College World Series.
19 punchies.
Owie!
Murray State got leveled up. I mean, they made it. It's a great story, but they got leveled up yesterday. Boy, they had no chance. I love his interview afterwards.
He is.
I loved his interview afterwards. I shouldn't have hit that guy. He hit the one guy
that was it.
A perfect game, but I mean, they had no chance. These dudes had no chance. Murray State's like, that's what the SEC is like. Oh boy, big problems, Murray State. But I mean,
first round pick.
He's supposed to be a first rounder. And you know what the best part was? Look at his pitch count. 119. 119. They let him finish, and his last pitch was just as hard as his first pitch. 98.
That'll be the last time you ever go past 110, buddy.
No. He'll pitch again. He'll pitch again in the next round, and they'll push that man to like 129.
And then
they got to win.
Yeah, they do have to win. That'll be the last time. Then they'll be like, in a year.
And then he'll go to Pro Bowl in a month after he signs as a first rounder. They'll be like, you get 25 pitches. And he's like, I just threw a 120-pitch no-hitter.
Life's going to come at him fast.
Paul Skeens just doing it.
Right now, he's getting paid well by Arkansas in a huge game, sold-out crowds in Omaha, and he's going to blink, and he's going to be like, I'm in the Florida State League or whatever. No one's here. And they're only letting me go an inning and a quarter.
Look at Paul Skeens. Paul Skeens was doing this 2 years ago in Omaha, 120 pitches routinely. He signs with the Pirates the next year. They're like, you're going to start out with 1 inning twice. Yeah. And then maybe by June you'll get to 3 innings. He's like, man, I've been throwing 120 pitches every start.
The best one that you ever pointed out was Noah Schultz. And I know you're more dialed on the White Sox prospects, but you are right because
well, this year he's actually made it into the 5th inning.
No, I know that, but I haven't looked at him in the past month. But before that, he was really struggling. And I'm like, no shit. You never let him pitch. You took this guy's soul away. You said, hey, you're going to be a little baby starter for a couple years, and then we'll maybe let you walk. You crawl for a while.
I can't imagine. I can't imagine being at that level and then going to rookie ball, whatever, the Coast League, whatever it's called now, the Complex League. You learn to run to first base. This dude was just spitting and snorting through a no-hitter in the College World Series, and then he's going to go and throw some touch and feels. He's like, what? I want to throw in the big league right now.
Oh, what a time to have Jonathan Papelbon back on the program.
We don't even have to talk. Pap, go. Go, Pap. I want to know what you feel about Devers. Go.
This is FT. You say whatever the heck you want. Give it to us good. Not only on the situation, but then your buddy Big Poppy. Is he really speaking the truth? Is he blasting Devers because he's getting paychecks for the Red Sox? What's going on here?
First off, I want to say what's up to all my beautiful people out there at the FT Nation. How y'all doing? Man, look, this situation is just it really started months and months ago. Look, at the end of the day, you don't rebuke the man that signed your checks. It's pretty simple. And for me, when you make that kind of money, you're willing to do whatever it takes to help the team. I mean, I know you guys have talked about this over and over, but to me, it's a sad way of going out for Rafi Devers.
Was he right or wrong? Was he right? I mean, because here's the thing. As a former player, and we've talked about this up ad nauseum, Pap, the last couple of days, but they told him you're not going to be a third baseman. They kind of sprung it on him. And he's like, oh, now you need me to play first. Like, was he obviously fans say, well, you got to do what the team says. But if you're not comfortable doing it, was he wrong? Just completely wrong? And he just should have said, whatever you guys want, I'll do. Because listen, I wasn't always like that. You definitely weren't always like that. I know I wasn't. So there are times where you got to stand up for yourself and say, I don't know, man.
AJ, there were times where he was asked to take ground balls at first and third very early in the season. He said no. And when he got bored, would go to shortstop and take balls. He was checked out. I mean, he was playing for himself and himself only. And I think that the players said it best when they were asked about it, and Sam Kennedy, president, and Craig Breslow, GM, came into the clubhouse in Seattle and wanted to give the team an explanation. And everybody on the team said, we don't need an explanation. Let's roll. Let's get on with the show. We don't need an explanation. That, to me, says volumes, right?
I mean, yeah, but really, was it that bad? I mean, if he's checked out, you've played with plenty of superstars who were checked out. Did you want him off the team when they were putting up superstar numbers?
I think this situation, Kratzy, you do put up with the BS with superstars because they put up. I totally agree with you. I've been sitting in the training room table with Manny Ramirez, and he pulled himself out of the game, and the trainer asked him what knee hurts, and he says, pick one. I've been through that with Manny, but I think that this situation just became to where, are we going to sacrifice our clubhouse and our culture and these young kids that are highly impressionable right now? You got 3 studs that they just called up that are looking to, veterans for leadership. And I don't think that the Red Sox necessarily wanted him in that clubhouse anymore. And I think that the fact that you got rid of $250 million, it says it all. I mean, I think that the players are kind of just add-ons. I think John Henry was okay with just simply dumping his contract. And this was a John Henry deal, by the way. This was done solely by John Henry.
For sure. But you said the rookies. I mean, you can add on that Duran, you can add on that Willie Abreu, you can add on that Cedar Rafael. It's a young team. Who are they going to look up to now? Like, is it Alex Cora? Is it Alex Cora's, is he the mother bird in this nest? And like, we got to make sure everybody's doing good. Like, we're gonna build these guys up to be Red Sox. Like, who's going to lead them?
Well, it's tough sledding right now, Kratz, for their team. And to be totally honest with you, like, they're missing right now a ton of production. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But I think they were willing to sacrifice. Sam Kennedy and Craig Breslow were willing to sacrifice clubhouse culture and another $250 million to do this deal. So, I wish, it really sucks, man, because I wish it could have gone better because, if in my opinion, if he had a little bit of like leadership or someone in his corner, like I don't know who his agent is, but someone that helps him represent himself, that helps him speak English, that helps him do whatever it may be in his life so that he's represented the way he needs to be represented. I just think he misrepresented himself here in just a horrible fashion by not, by saying F you, I'm going to go take balls at short and not third. And I'm not going to play first base or third base now. And just the way he kind of went about it, nope, I picked third base. Nope, trade me. Like he wanted to get traded. Like he asked them in the beginning of all this in spring training to be traded. So I think they've been working on it for a while.
But the Red Sox are fine punting this season. You get rid of this type of bat, they're essentially punting this season away. Maybe they're just a 500 team anyway. Like they got hot to get back to 500. So I wasn't in the Red Sox boat of them.
I think this is a punt right now, but I think that they can make a fourth quarter run. I mean, they're right. They just swept the Yankees. I think, yes, they are punting right now, and they're going to have to figure it out. It's going to be all hands on deck. But at the end of the day, I think that they're comfortable with the starting pitchers or the starter and reliever they're getting back. And I think they opened up a ton of cash for John Henry to go get whoever he wants at the trade deadline as well.
Oh, I got to go back to something you just said. Rafi Devers asked for a trade in spring training because there's a lot of people in Boston that have not reported this, that he was fine with it. So when did this happen? Because that's news to me, at least.
Yeah. As soon as he found out they were going after Bregman and Bregman could be a possibility, Rafi Devers was wanting to be traded. This was all kind of in-house stuff. And reporters have now known this. This has come out. But, the ego got in the way so bad that, he was willing to be traded.
So, Pat, wait. Take me back from what you know. He finds out about the Bregman situation, right? And before he gets to camp, he reaches out to them and says, hey, if Bregman's playing third, I want to be traded. Because at least most of the communication process that appears to be public is they tell him, hey, it's just rumors, you're third base. He shows up to camp, and then they're like, yeah, we got Bregman. He's not playing second. He's playing third. Throw your glove away. So even before all of this, he reached out to the Sox and said, I don't even want to go to camp. Trade me if I'm not playing third. Like this started before all of that?
He was at camp already. Yeah.
Okay.
But, I mean, this is just look, we all have egos. We all play with egos. We need our egos to, be really good in this game. I truly believe that. You have to have it. But in this situation, I think he allowed his ego to get in the way of his career. I mean, I think that, and look, I think this all could have been avoided. I really, truly do. If Rafi would have just had better communication with the front office, and I also blame the front office too. I blame Brez and Sam just as much as I do blame Devers. The communication on their end was terrible too. And I think that Sam and Brez will admit that.
All right, so let's get off of this. Where do they go from here? Let's go there. Where do the Red Sox go from here? Because he was the face. He was their best hitter. He was the guy that they counted on to get the big hit and drive in the runs. Where do the Red Sox go from here? Is there another move coming to try to replace this? And the biggest thing I don't like about this is the contract thing. Oh, they dumped the contract. You're the Red Sox, dude. That contract's nothing for a guy in the prime of his career.
Yeah, I agree. But when you don't want that player, I think it's a little bit easier to dump that contract or say we're dumping it. But where they go here, AJ? Shoot, man. I don't know. They're gonna have to get some guys healthy quick. I think Bregman is back, is coming back a little bit earlier than expected. That's what I'm hearing. But they need a leadership. They need leader in the dugout, which Breggs is there, but they're going to have guys step up. It's that simple. Like, they're going to have guys step up, and it may not be one guy that steps up, but because look, it's going to have to be 2, maybe 3 guys that step up from the rest of the year out that are going to put up the production that Rafael did. He puts the production up of 2 people. So there's going to have to be multiple people step up, and who that is it Hunter Dobbins? I don't know. Is Giolito throwing the ball a little bit better? Yes. Does Bayo need to step it up? Yes. Crochet is Crochet. But I have a feeling that come trade deadline, they're going to try to reload.
How anticipated is this weekend series that the Red Sox are going to end up playing the Giants? Is Rafi Devers going to be 4 for 4 in every one of these games?
You know what I'm interested to see more than that? And he may be, because he's that good of a player. But I'm interested to see what it's like pregame. Is he over there going to be talking with Alex Cora and saying hello, or is there going to be some bad blood still?
No chance he's talking. No chance. What do you think? You think they're going to be chumming it up behind second base, giving that the fake dat? No way.
Nope. I think that they've cut the ties now, and I think all relationships are severed between everyone in that dugout, in the clubhouse, and the front office with Rafi Devers. So I don't think there's going to be any smiles at all.
Good. From a fan who has no fight in this, good. I love that.
Bring the hate.
Bring the hate.
By the way,
rivalry.
do you think, Pat, maybe one might get away from whoever's starting for the Red Sox? Maybe a Crochet. I don't know if Crochet's starting, but maybe a Giolito, maybe a Bayo. One might get away, Pap style. And, Rafi, that had to hurt a little bit?
AJ, no, not today, my friend. Not today. It's
no, not today, but I'm talking about this weekend, Pap, when the Red Sox play the Giants.
They don't do that anymore. Guys don't do that.
I mean, not in today's game, not in today's age.
Yeah. Pedro retired.
Oh, Pedro, trust me. Pedro, there definitely would have been some action with Pedro.
Oh, hell yeah.
Someone that faced Pedro, you don't even look at Pedro.
I remember they brought me in when we traded Manny. When Manny goes to the White Sox, and they brought me in, and Tito called for me to drill Manny. It took me like 4 pitches to drill him, but I had to drill him. So I don't know if it's going to happen or not. Maybe Alex Cora calls in somebody to drill him or not. I don't know, but I highly doubt it.
There you go.
Can you imagine if his first at bat, one just gets away and, then we got action.
You're going to have a brawl.
Then we got action. Must be TV.
If it's not accidental or not, it just hit him. Maybe on purpose.
You better make sure you don't. Exactly. All right, Pap, stay here for a sec. We need you during the break. And for the TV crowd, be right back.
Okay.
Pap's pick live. Gotta love it. Well, yesterday, Phillies did beat Alcantara. What, you have beef with
I got to call Pap
thing?
out. Pap, this is the least energy you've ever had in your whole life on this show. Are you this sad that Rafi Devers got traded?
No, man. I just got back from Boston, actually. I've been in the Vineyard. Actually, I went and played golf at the Vineyard Club. Obama was playing in the group in front of me. I almost drilled him with a ball. And I've been traveling for 2 days. I haven't slept in, I think, like 48 hours, something like that. So
Secret Service blocked it.
I'm just grinding.
He's car sick, AJ. He's car sick.
Yeah, clearly. Anyway.
All right, so what's your lock?
Pap went full company guy in this interview.
Can you win us some money here, Pap? What do you got?
Yeah, I got hell, I don't even know who I got now. I took
Cincinnati.
the
Red Sox. You took the Red Sox.
No, he took the Reds.
No, the Reds.
He took the Reds.
I took the
Reds
Reds.
money
Yeah,
line.
I took the Reds. I took Ellie De La Cruz. He's freaking on fire right now. Might hit another
He is.
bomb tonight. And I think Abbott was pitching for the Reds, who's been dealing
is.
this year as well. Is he?
Yep, you got Abbott. Because I have the same pick. So I locked it in earlier this morning.
So
The
great
line
minds
moved a
think
little.
alike.
Yeah, exactly. I'm with you. Hey, final minute that we have with you, and it's a hard minute because then we're coming back from break. So my last thing I wanted to get to, the timing. They make this trade now. I'm like, the Giants would have been oozing to make this trade either in a month or after the season is really, for me, where it should have been done because the Red Sox did trade their best bat. So they're not winning the World Series this year without Devers, in my mind. Would they have won anyway? Probably not, but you definitely made your team worse. I'm like, dude's on 8.5 years. I would have done this in the offseason and send your message there and also open it up to every team for the bidding. That was the thing that really pissed me off. I'm like, you want to do it in the offseason? Get the money back, go for it. Now I didn't leave you any time.
Yeah.
But
Horrible timing. I don't think the timing could have been any worse. I totally agree with you.
That to me is where I'm like, front office needs to have a feel. Like this is not the time. Send the message, slam it in November, and then go sign some other big bat. But all right, Pap, you're the man. Get some rest, dude.
All right, guys. Thank y'all. See ya.
See ya. App to the people. Better than box scores, let's start with the Yankees. Giancarlo Stanton's back. It's been a minute. Remember what he did in October last year?
Yeah, but they haven't scored a run in like 4 games, I feel like.
I know. I got a couple comments. You guys going to talk about the Yankees not scoring runs in 50-something innings? Nah, I was trying to take a break from the Yankees and talking about them. And also, I mean, who cares? So the Yankees are in an offensive rut. Shocker. Every team goes through that. But here's Big G back for the Yanks. Entertaining player to watch.
Mm-hmm.
So for me as a baseball fan, cool. For Yankees fans, they should be excited. And it's the same theory that some of the playoff locks have.
By the way, welcome.
You guys froze. So I guess it's just me. My question is, because AJ will give us his comment on G later, but Giancarlo Stanton's up hitting and he's got an extra pair of batting gloves in his back pocket. He's so drippy. Like he is the quintessential drip king. So much aura. And you know what? We'll chat about it later whenever we get back from break.
We're back. You hear us?
Oh, I hear you now.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
No break.
Yeah.
Kratz isn't in charge.
Here's my thing on this. Like, welcome back, Giancarlo Stanton. It's cool story.
It's awesome.
But did you see how unlucky the Yankees got I think it was the 9th inning, where they pinch ran for him and the guy was stealing third and the ground ball went right to the third base. He just tagged the guy and then got crushed by the runner. Did you see that play?
I don't know if I did.
It was crazy. So it was Stanton hits a leadoff double, and someone pinch ran for him, and whoever pinch ran for him was stealing third.
Jason.
Oh, Martian.
Jason Dominguez, the Martian.
Dominguez. And then Volpe, I think, hits a ground ball right to the third baseman, just covering third, and he tags him, and they basically got out of the inning and then lost 1-0, 11 or 12, and Christian Moore got his first hit. So.
Yep.
But that was one of the crazier plays I've ever seen, because normally the guy covers, the ball goes right to where he was standing, and it's a base hit, and the game's over. No, right to the third baseman, tags him, out, they get out of the inning.
And, right, that's the game.
Because Kenley was pitching, and you know people get on against Kenley, they just take off.
Yes. That's been his thing for a while. But yeah, 1-0 loss for the Yanks. Let's get to a couple others. Ryan Pepiot dominated. Start of his career, probably, unless I'm missing something. 8 innings, 1 earned run, 11 punch-outs. He's got a 3.11 ERA. And actually, he has better overall numbers than Glasnow has since the trade. I mean, the Rays got themselves something special. Pepiot's really damn good.
Pitching.
Well,
definitely his longest outing. He played for
innings.
He played for the Dodgers. There's no way they would have let him throw this long. The Rays have gone away from the opener because they're like, oh, wait, we have starters that can start and go. It's like everybody followed the Rays. Hey, we got to do openers like the Rays. And the Rays are like, we don't want to do this. We have to do it based on who we have.
Bingo. And Kratz, to me, the theme that the Rays are rolling with now is babying pitchers does nothing in a vacuum. in maybe some cases you need to do it. In most cases, let it eat, right? We're not doing the old days of 130, 40 pitches, but we went so far the other way, and the Rays now are eating.
Keep losing our guys. But you know what? After this, we need to see what organization figures out who to not hurt their pitchers. And to me, the only way it happens before we go to slap hands is somebody has to lose their job if people get hurt. No organization ever fires anybody because they're getting hurt. That's it. Nobody's accountable except the pitchers are gone and they just bring the next guy up.
We're back again. Did you lose us again? Is that what happened?
Yeah, you got a little glitchy.
Okay. Last thing. But yeah, anyway, Pepiot dominated against, I know the Orioles have been really bad this year, but they're playing much better lately. Their lineups are much more intact. You went through a good lineup. The lineup's not the problem for the Orioles. It was a problem earlier. Now it's good.
Pepiot's been good for him.
Yeah.
But their whole starting staff has been good. That's kind of why they're in it, and that's why they're playing so well right now.
Mm-hmm.
Look at their numbers. They're crazy good right now.
And then one more. Nick Kurtz, walk-off.
Oh, wow.
Just a great moment. I mean, the A's have been going through it, especially at home lately, but 447 feet. And he had this genuine joy when he looked back at the dugout that felt college-y to me because a year ago he was in college. Cool.
His helmet almost came off. He swung so hard.
Yeah. And so they walk off the Astros, the A's, 3-1. Who wants to win the AL West?
The Astros?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll never know. I guess we'll never know.
Maybe the Rangers. But anyway, it was a cool moment. A's have some dudes that can swing it. Their pitchers have just been brutal, especially their bullpen. And it's well documented that they're struggling to pitch at home, including Severino. Last thought here. Thumbs up or thumbs down, Luis Severino traded at the deadline. I actually think he's going to get dealt. No?
It's 2 more years.
I think this is the time. There's not that many guys like him available. He's pitching insane on the road. He looks just as good as he did last year if you get him out of that park.
Billy Bean's smarter than you. He made a movie about himself.
They're out of the playoff mix. Anyway, we'll be right back. We'll slap. BetMGM locks. Let's finish up. Mine's easy because I'm going with Pap. Ellie De La Cruz in the Reds. I locked it in at -110. Pap got it when it was at -120. Line's moving. Twins, road, left-handed pitching numbers not great. Reds, home, numbers against right-handed pitching very good. Andrew Abbott is their ace, and I think he continues to shine right now. It's almost even money game for me. So, cool. I'll go Reds. You?
I'm going parlay Papelbon because he was so unenergetic today. He brought me down. So I'm going parlay. I mean, that was the most least energy I've ever seen out of Pap. I'm going Tigers money line against the Pirates. Under 9 Cardinals at White Sox because neither our team really scores a lot of runs, and Smith has been good for the White Sox. So don't sleep on him being their all-star. And then finally, I'm going to bet Nationals again. Why? Because they got to win at some point. They're playing the Rockies. They can't let the Rockies go in there and just take all the games from them. So they got to win.
True. Kratz?
I like that. I'm taking the O's, parlaying that with the over in the Royals-Rangers game. We got a Lugo versus a Leiter. It's going to be a lot of runs early on in that game. Putting that together, plus 291. I took the O's because Zach Littell's pitching. There's going to be some dingers. So I also got Colton Cowser hitting a dinger off of him.
Wait, you've got Lugo, Leiter, and you've got over 4.5 runs? Plus 291.
No. My home run lock is a Colton Cowser.
Right, but Lugo against Leiter, Royals, Rangers, first 5 innings, you've got 5 runs or more with those two pitching?
Yep.
What's the thought process there?
Thought process is Leiter may give up 5 just on his own. I know the Royals haven't been swinging very hard.
The Royals?
I hear you.
Okay. Well, let's see.
Let's see how it works
You
out,
know
Cotton.
what? I'm pushing it when I'm going against the hottest hand in the last couple weeks, but we'll see. Hey, if you've got a home run lock, go for it on BetMGM. It's a no sweat token for your home run locks. If you activate it and your bet comes up short, you get your stake back in bonus bets. If you've got one in the app, go for it tonight, and good luck. Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Slap hands. Next, we'll see if we can talk about that little Pajes beef with the Padres. 2 minutes, 2 things to cover in Slap Hands. Number 1, if you haven't already, crash our group chat on ChatBCC. Very easy to join. I will drop a link in the chat right now, the YouTube chat, so you can come over and hang out with us in ChatBCC. There's 2 things that we're going to do over the next 48 hours. One is another giveaway, because we're doing one every single week, giving away 2 tickets up to $400. The next contest I think is pretty fun. You'll see a post from AJ or Kratz coming up in the next few hours, so look out for that. And if you have questions for us, we'll queue up before the people post. So look for that either today or tomorrow, and then we'll do a segment on it. I liked last time we did this. I mean, we got some questions like, hey, when should my kid, start playing T-ball? Like some of that stuff that I thought was cool, which I think you would like. Mm-hmm. So maybe we'll do that on Thursday. What's today? Tuesday? So maybe we'll do that on Thursday.
Do it on Friday.
Well, if we do it on Friday, then you don't get to answer questions about T-ball. Do you want in on that?
Yes, of course.
Yes. There we go. And then with our final 30 seconds or so, we didn't have time for Andy Pajes against Dylan Cease. Pajes thought he was throwing at him intentionally because he thought he was stealing signs at second.
How do you steal signs with pitch gum? Someone explain that to me. How do you steal signs if there's pitch gum?
Catcher setup?
I don't know. And that's on the catcher. It shouldn't be on the pitcher.
I don't know.